In the glacial caverns of the northern ice fields, where temperatures plummet to lethal extremes and sunlight becomes a distant memory, a young predator emerges from the darkness. This is Frigibax, a creature that defies conventional reptilian biology, thriving where most life would perish within minutes. The dorsal fin, translucent and razor-sharp, functions as both weapon and thermal regulator. Crystalline structures within absorb ambient cold, converting frigid air into metabolic fuel through a process scientists are only beginning to comprehend. The creature's body temperature registers below freezing, yet its cells remain fluid, protected by antifreeze proteins that prevent ice crystal formation within tissue. But in these frozen territories, Frigibax must compete for resources. Bergmite formations control the richest mineral deposits, crystallized nutrients locked within ancient ice. When Frigibax approaches these contested zones, territorial disputes erupt swiftly. The juvenile uses its relentless persistence and cryogenic bite to challenge the armored defenders, forcing brief but decisive confrontations that often end with the Bergmite yielding ground to the more aggressive hunter. As Frigibax navigates the labyrinthine ice tunnels, its specialized vision detecting thermal signatures invisible to conventional sight. The creature is perfectly engineered for this hostile environment. Powerful jaws crushing through permafrost, extracting minerals that fuel its relentless growth. Each successful hunt, each territorial victory, has triggered the transformation. The dorsal fin extends beyond normal juvenile proportions, body mass surging as physiological restructuring accelerates. The metamorphosis is imminent. What emerges from the glacial shadows is a more formidable hunter. Arctobax draconis, the glacial predator. Gone is the scrappy juvenile form. Arctobax stands nearly 3 feet tall, bipedal, muscular, built for combat. Gray scales reinforced with ice-blue armor plating. 3 massive fins now protrude from its back, jagged ice formations shaped like crystalline blades. These structures radiate sub-zero temperatures, turning the surrounding air into visible frost. The musculature has doubled, powerful limbs crushing through ice formations that would halt lesser predators. Arctobax commands respect from former rivals. Bergmite colonies retreat at its approach, recognizing the signature of superior force. The contested mineral deposits now belong to the evolved hunter without confrontation. But as resources within the caverns dwindle, instinct drives Arctobax toward the surface, toward the exposed glacier plateau where richer territories await. There, an obstacle dominates. Avalugg, the glacial titan, sprawled across the frozen expanse, territorial and ancient, weighing several tons of compressed ice. When Arctobax emerges onto the plateau, the behemoth's presence declares absolute ownership. Arctobax attempts to challenge, dorsal fins radiating intense cold. Avalugg remains motionless, unmoved by displays that scatter lesser creatures. A brief confrontation erupts. Cryogenic bite meets impenetrable armor. The Titan retaliates with overwhelming mass. Arctobax retreats back toward the cavern entrance, not from fear, but recognition. The power gap remains too vast. For now. the evolved hunter withdraws to patrol the boundary between cavern and surface, claiming intermediate territories. Relentless hunting cycles drive continuous growth, the frame expanding, bones thickening to support greater mass. The fins radiate progressively colder temperatures. Something larger stirs within. What emerges from the frozen depths no longer challenges the Titan. It becomes one. Baxcalibur Hyperboreus, the Ice Colossus. Emerging onto the windswept glacier. Transformation complete. Over 6 feet of muscle and glacial armor. Bipedal, massive, engineered for warfare. The cavern-dwelling days have ended. Along the spine, a weaponized ridge, a massive ice sail formed from compressed glacial matter, capable of generating localized blizzards. The jaw structure has broadened, reinforced to crush permafrost. Limbs thick as tree trunks anchor the massive frame to the glacier itself. Baxcalibur surveys the territory with methodical precision. Wind howls across the plateau, temperatures lethal to most organisms. The creature exhales, breath instantly crystallizing into ice particles that drift like snow. Then, a presence emerges across the frozen expanse. Avalug, the entrenched titan that has ruled this plateau for years, territorial and unyielding. The behemoth's sheer mass has repelled every challenger that dared to approach. The two titans lock eyes across the expanse. Baxcalibur releases a thunderous roar. Avalug answers with a guttural bellow that reverberates across the plateau. Baxcalibur strikes first. Cryogenic breath erupts in a devastating blast, flash-freezing Avalug's frontal armor. The jaws follow, clamping down with force that cracks through the weakened plating. The behemoth counters with crushing weight, attempting to pin the challenger beneath its mass. Baxcalibur's claws respond, slashing across Avalug's face, carving deep furrows through the ice. Avalug breaks formation. The behemoth retreats across the plateau, conceding dominion to the evolved sovereign. Baxcalibur claims the central territory, standing motionless as wind and snow swirl around its armored form. The plateau belongs to the transformed sovereign now, not through prolonged siege, but through evolutionary superiority. In the harshest environment on the continent, nature has forged its ultimate answer to survival. Not adaptation, domination. Where ice meets sky, where only the apex endure, one truth crystallizes. Evolution does not create survivors. It creates conquerors.